So good evening, guys. No, I'm Kikyam, and today I will be lecturing you on psychological testing and assessment by Cohen, specifically chapter 3, entitled "A Statistics Refresher." Now, if you've ever taken psychological statistics before, the terms that we will be demonstrating or that we will be learning today is very familiar to you. But if not, then I'll do my best to really explain these terminologies as much as I could. No. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Okay. So let's first move on to scales of measurements. Now, you may notice that there's two words present here, scales and measurement. And yeah, so these two words are actually over here. It's going to be explained today. And let's first move on to measurement. So what is measurement, guys? It's the act of assigning numbers or symbols to characteristics of things such as people, events, or whatever according to rules. So it's basically like you assign these numbers, like for example 12, to a certain characteristics. So for example, you assign the number 12 to all lengths that are exactly the same length as a 12-inch ruler. So it's basically, yeah, it's very, like, I don't want to really delve into this explanation because this is the most like the most technical jud na explanation, but it's like measurement is basically like you assign numbers or symbols, right? A scale naman, when you think of a scale, it's a set of numbers or other symbols whose properties model empirical properties of the objects to which the numbers are assigned. So, if measurement is the act of assigning numbers or symbols to characteristics of things, the scale is a set of these assigned numbers or symbols, right? Gets na ba? So, when you say measurement, let's say this is a ruler, right? This is a ruler. And when you say like 1 inch, this is 1 inch, right? This is 1 inch. That is a measurement or something like that. A scale naman is like that. There's like a lot of them. Gets na ba? All right. Okay, so moving on. So there's actually two types of scale, guys. And this might be familiar to you if you've taken psychological statistics, but if not, let me explain. So we have this thing called discrete scale. Okay, discrete scale. Yeah, over here. Sorry. Discrete scale and continuous scale. First, let's talk about continuous scale. So, a continuous scale is a scale used to measure a discrete. Oh wait, what? Sorry. Sorry. A continuous scale exists when it is theoretically possible to divide any of the values of the scale. So, when you say continuous, what comes to your mind first? It goes on and on and on, right? So it's if it goes on and on, then it's theoretically possible to divide any of the values of the scale. So for example, you might think of 1.5, right? 1.5. You might think of 2.5, but it goes on and on and on. That it's like, I know, you can go 1.55, or you can go 1.55555555, and the list goes on. It still exists. This number still exists, by the way. Even if it's like 1,000 fives, like in a 1.5, that number still exists because it's theoretically possible to divide any of the values of the scale. So you can go as small as you want, or you can go as big as you want. That is a continuous scale. It goes on and on and on. So basically like that. Sorry, I had to sing there so that it would really like para matatak yung sa utak nyo, di ba? All right, so let's move on to discrete scales, shall we? So a discrete scale, from the word discrete, what is discrete? If I can remember correctly, discrete means na it can be counted, right? So instead of like and then whole numbers, yeah, it can basically be counted, and it usually accounts for whole numbers. So what does that mean? So let's say a scale, right? Like a scale that I've been talking about. If a continuous scale can go like this, a 1.5, and ang iyang range is 1 point, like kung continuous scale siya, you can have a number that's 1.555554, right? Like it still exists. But on discrete scale, it's explicitly dapat ano siya, dapat kanang whole number siya. So 1, 2, 3. It can be counted, and there's like a certain like distance between them, you know? Like Bobachi, gnarly, or something like that. Sorry guys. Sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah. So for example, discrete scale is like example previously hospitalized and never hospitalized. So there's two choices lang, right? It can be counted. It's categorized, right? So you can either be previously hospitalized or never hospitalized. You can't be like half of these. Like you can't be like half never hospitalized, right? That's impossible. But theoretically, if it's a continuous scale, then it is possible. But we're talking about discrete scales here, right? All right. Oops, sorry. Medyo lobat na yung tablet ko. So let's talk about error, shall we? When you think about error, what comes to your mind first? You might think about na, oh no, it's a bad thing. Oh no, we should like avoid this at all cost. But actually, guys, in psychological testing and assessment, error isn't always negative, right? It can mean like it's normal, because in psychological testing and assessment, error is normal. So what is error exactly? So error is the collective influence of all of the factors on a test score or measurement beyond those specifically measured by the test or measurements. I want to stress over here, by the way. I want to stress in this juncture here, because it is the influence, the collective influence of the things that are beyond those specifically measured by the test or measurements. So example, extraneous variables, if you're familiar with that, right? So yeah, like example, let's take us for example, if mag-take tag test sa isa ka test. So, take tag test sa isa ka test. Like if mag-take tag test sa isa ka subject, most if I'm not mistaken, nakapulaw naman ta, 'di ba? Like we have those all-nighters, right? And like when we go to the test, we're very groggy, we're very sleepy. Those sleepiness, guys, that sleepiness can account to error. It can contribute to error. And it's something that the test users cannot control, 'di ba? It's something that the testers cannot control. Kung sleepy ay mong student, unsay buhaton nimo? Hatagin nimo siya kuan? Melatonin? Gago. Charing. Anyways, yeah. So it's not only extraneous variables such as sleepiness, no? It can also mean like how the test is perceived by the tester, by the test taker, I'm sorry, or how the tester puts different items into the quiz. So example like this, let's say like had a different item or two been used in the test taker's score in the test might have been higher or lower. So dili jud nato ma-stop, guys. Even if grabe jud nato like by miracle meticulous ang atong pagpili sa questions, there's bound to be error, because everyone has individual variations, right? Everyone has individual differences. We can't account to all of them. And yeah, error is just a normal thing in life, right? So yeah. So moving on. So it's also great to note that, okay, let's talk about this in terms of assessment. So let's say you're giving an anxiety test, right? Like an anxiety test. When the test says when the test says na murag, oh, he is 35%, he's like, wait, let me rephrase that actually. Okay, let's not talk about assessment. Let's talk about mga measurement na lang. So let's say kanang you're measuring a window pane, right? You're measuring a window pane with the curtains. Kanang very guapa siya. And you want to measure it, and you measured actually na it's actually 35.5 inches, right? But in reality, it could be 35.7 inches. Now going back to that anxiety test that I tried to demonstrate and failed miserably, it's basically like the number or score, alright? The number or score used to characterize the trait being measured on a continuous scale should be thought of as an approximation of the real number. So going back to that window pane, right? Like you measured 35.5. Am I correct? But in reality, it could be 35.7. Same man din sa anxiety test natin. If it says na I'm 99% confident that this person has anxiety, pero it's just an approximation that he could have anxiety, right? Dili jud siya true, as in true jud nga naa siya anxiety. I mean, naa siya anxiety, but like dili siya true na number that you can come up to. There's always bound to be error, right? You're always bound to be erroring. You're always bound to do error, even if you try to measure psychological variables. When you try to measure a window pane, it's normal, guys, right? All right. So example, I should have just read this honestly. A score of 25 on some test of anxiety should not be thought of as a precise measure of anxiety. Rather, it should be thought of as an approximation of the real anxiety score. So, ayun. I would have just read this honestly, but yeah, you get the idea. So now let's move on to the actual scales, no. So we have a French word for black, and it's called noir, right? Noir, Noir. And actually, guys, this is an acronym or a mnemonic for the scales that is mostly used in psychology, and that is nominal, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So let's without further ado, let's explain, no. So, ang nominal scales, guys, when you think of nominal, think of categories, right? It's the simplest form of measurement. These scales involve classification or categories or, based on one or more distinguishing characteristics. So, they're placed into mutually exclusive and exhaustive categories. For example, a great example that every psych student knows, the DSM-5, right? Example, when you categorize anxiety and schizophrenia, di ba lahi jud sila? There's a clear distinction nga lahi sila, right? Anxiety and schizophrenia. You can't categorize them together because you know na they're different. Therefore, those are classification. That's just classification. You're just categorizing them, right? Ayun. So, in terms of testing, how can it be applied in a clinical setting? Take this for example, like a yes or no question. A yes or no response is nominal because you are just categorizing them. Nothing more, nothing less. And let's say the instructions here says, answer either yes or no. Are you actively contemplating trigger warning? Yeah, suicide? You can either say yes or no, and that's it. They categorize that measurement, right? Okay. So that's pretty much it, right? Gets na ba? Categories and all. Ang ordinal scales naman, guys, from the word ordinal, order, right? Order. So, in addition to classification, rank ordering, in addition to classification, rank ordering on some characteristics is also permissible with ordinal scales. So, example of this would be job applicants may be rank ordered according to the desirability for a position, right? Ginaano nimo sila, gina-rank jud nimo, gina-order nimo sila like, oh, kani si guy kay first placer, right? So, category gyapon ni siya. Second placer, si guy number 2, right? Nga na bitaw? Gets ba? Puntahan na. Charing. So, a great example, no. Actually, guys, si Alfred Binet, right? Si Alfred Binet na he believed strongly that the data derived from an intelligent test are ordinal in nature. So, that's what he says specifically. But here's the interesting part, which I'll get into later. Sorry. Ginatis. But yeah. So, in terms of ordinal form of measurement, a great example of the test would be the Rokiach Value Survey. So, what is this? From the word value survey, it's a survey of values, guys. Like, example, freedom, happiness, and wisdom. They're put in order according to their perceived importance to the test taker. So you, the test taker, will be given the test, and the values that will be shown in the paper, you have to rank them according to your perceived importance, right? But here's the catch, guys. Here's the catch of ordinal scales and why it's flawed. Because ordinal scales imply nothing, and I mean nothing, about how much greater one ranking is than another. So, to further exemplify that, let's take for example mga honor sa class, right? Yung mga honor sa class. Let's say si first honor kay naka 95.5, right? Taas kaayo. Pero natingala kasi second honor kay naka 91.4. Imagine, layo kayang distance, pero he's still second honor. Si third honor naman, he's not that far off kay 91, but he's still technically third. Gets ba? Like the distances are unequal. It's not counted. It's not accounted for. Sorry, it's not accounted for. That's the flaw of ordinal scales, guys. Because ang distance is not standard, right? You can be first place, you can have 100%, I don't care. Like this guy can have 100%, I don't care. But second honor, if walay other na makatupong pa niya, this guy can still be 50%. This guy can still have 50. And kani kay 49. And he can still be second honor. Diba, guys? There's no equal distancing, and that's the flaw, again, of ordinal scales. So, ayun. To further amplify that, no? Ordinal scales also have no absolute 0 point. What do you mean by absolute 0? When you say na 0 is absolute, let's say kani, okay? Let's take for example, if you say no absolute 0, no absolute 0. Take for example temperature. When you look at temperature, diba, it can say 40 degrees Celsius. How about 0 degrees Celsius, right? If 0 degrees Celsius ang giingon sa temperature, is there still temperature? Yes, temperature still exists. Yes, it still exists. So even if 0 ang giingon, it doesn't mean na dili na mo exist ang temperature. So the 0 is not absolute. However, if it is absolute 0, take for example the amount of books you have or the amount of children you have. How many children you have? I have 3. I have 3 children. Okay, you have 3. But what if you have 0 children? What if you have 0 children? Does your children still exist if you have 0 children? No! You don't have children if 0 among children. So therefore, if you have 0 children, the 0 in this example is absolute. Right? So, to sum it all up, not absolute 0, kaya even if it's 0, the thing still exists. The variables still exist. Pero if it's absolute 0, if it's 0, then it doesn't exist anymore. Okay? Gets. So yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me take a break. All right. So now let's move on to interval scales. Now, interval scales is pretty interesting because this is where statistical manipulation is now possible. Hell yeah, guys, we can finally manipulate. Diba? That's what we're trying to do. Charing. Guys, it's okay to manipulate, but please do not manipulate people. Just manipulate the data to your own accordance, if it's ethical, no? So, what is interval scales, no? Interval scales contain equal intervals, guys. Diba? Anak ko sa inyo na ang ordinal scales, the reason why it's flawed is because the distances can be unequal, like the honors. But in interval scales, the intervals or the distances are now equal, right? For between numbers. And same man din sa ordinal kay no absolute 0 point. Asa may meaning sa no absolute 0 point again? Kung dili siya absolute ang 0, if 0 siya, the variable still exists. So, yeah. So with interval scales, we have reached a level of measurement at which it is possible to average a set of measurements and obtain a meaningful result. So here, guys, we can finally standardize, and that's literally the bread and butter of psychological testing and assessment, to standardize, guys. So, as you may know, actually, I don't know. Fun fact, most if not all of the psychological tests are ordinal. Yeah, they're ordinal, I believe. Yeah, they're the most frequently occurring in psychology, as stated here. Sorry, I didn't quite stress this, sorry. But yeah, guys, ordinal scales usually ang psychology. Ang psychological testing. Pero ang interval scales, pwede man pod. This is the nuisance of it actually. Kaya ang psychological tests, they're actually ordinal in nature, but they're treated as interval. We'll get into that much later on because again, ang interval scales is statistical manipulation is now possible, right? And blah blah blah. So yeah. So scores on many tests such as tests of intelligence are analyzed statistically in ways appropriate for data at the interval level of measurement. The difference in intellectual ability represented by IQs of 80 and 100, for example, is thought to be similar that to existing between IQs of 120. Okay, so if you were to look at it sa IQ of 80 and 100, what is the difference of the distance between them? 20, diba? Because when you add 20 to 80, mahimo siya 100. When you add 20 to 100, mahimo siya 120. So, equal na yung distances, guys. Yan yung ano sa interval. Yan yung pinaka-greatest gift of God or something. So, yeah. Next, we have ratio scales. So, what is ratio scales, guys? So, this is where it gets interesting because diri na siya where it has an absolute or true 0 point. So all mathematical operations can be meaningfully performed because of the ratio. So in psychology, ratio level measurement is employed in some types of tests and test items. Note the some types. Perhaps most notably those involving assessment of neurological functioning. For example, a test of hand grip, right? Okay. So, what I said before, ang ratio scale kay kung zero siya, kung absolute zero siya, meaning kung zero ang variable, the variable doesn't exist. Why a test of hand grip? Why neurological functioning? Like this, okay? Take for example this guy. This guy is holding the grip, right? And he's really like trying his best. And I actually reached a good score. He actually reached like what, 55? So naka 55 siya. What if naka 0 siya, guys? Napa ba siya ikusog? Wala, right? Because the 0 here is absolute. The 0 here is absolute. If dili siya mo grip, meaning wala siya ikusog, wa siya ikusog. If dili siya mo grip, wa siya ikusog. But here's the thing, guys. It's purely theoretical. Because imposible si Guy mag-zero iyang score sa neurological functioning unless he's either two things. One, paralyzed siya, or two, dili siya mo follow og instruction. And that's why it's theoretical nga zero siya, because people again have some ability. Even if you think na wala sila ability, na wala joy tao nga walay ability, guys, because we have an innate ability man jud. So example, take for example again kanang mag-puzzle ka, how many seconds it takes to solve this puzzle. So example ako, I solve this puzzle in 20 seconds na, pas na kayo. But then again, guys, if zero ang kung seconds na maka solve, grabe na pud. Like there's nothing na, 'di ba? So even if the Flash, guys, kay mag-take og test na mag-puzzle, it's impossible for him to even solve that puzzle in 0 seconds, because wala man 0 seconds, guys. It's just theoretical. Again, it's theoretical. I'm sorry. So let me just open this up as well. The ratio, bad word. The ratio 0 makes the score open to interpretation. For instance, 0 in hand grip can mean, again, patient is uncooperative or even paralyzed. So, yeah. The ratio 0 exists, the absolute 0 exists just for us, the assessors, to be able to interpret it if ever man lang na 0 jud iyang score, 'di ba? Pero imposible nga naka-0 siya, guys. Imposible jud kaayo. So again, as what I said, the ordinal level is the most frequently used in psychology. Right? So, intelligence, aptitude, and personality test scores are basically and strictly speaking ordinal. These tests indicate with more or less accuracy not the amount of intelligence, right? Not the amount. Like, kung IQ, it's not the amount, guys. They don't measure how much you have, but rather the rank order positions of the individuals according to other individuals who took the test. That's why, kung mag-psychological report bitaw ka, that's why they say, let's say ikaw, let's say ako, Gian Marco scored 100% better than the same aged peers that took the same test, right? So instead na amount of intelligence you have, you are compared to your peers, right? So that's why it's ordinal. You are ranked. That's why ordinal level is the most frequently used in psychology. Para we can be standardized. Ayun na naman yung bread and butter natin. Maging standardized sa mga test na yan. Bad word. So yeah. Yeah. Anyways, ayun. So why would psychologists want to treat their assessment data as interval, when those data would be better described as ordinal? This is what I've been saying before. We treat the data as interval, but they're actually ordinal, guys. Diba? Why not just say they're ordinal? The attraction of interval measurement for users of psychology tests is the flexibility with which such data can be manipulated statistically. Again, this is where we do it again. Diba, anak ko sorry. Let me rephrase that. So, diba, anak silang ang interval, dyan na yung, like, you can actually You can actually manipulate statistically, right? That's why we treat our tests as interval, even in reality they're ordinal, so that we can be standardized, right? We can be standardized in our shit para pud ma-flexible pud ta with such data and can be manipulated again statistically. So what kind of statistical manipulation, you may ask? That is where these comes from, to describe data. When we want to manipulate these data, we have to describe them, guys. So let's me explain, shall we? So what is a distribution? When you say distribution, kung ang scale pa lang, mura siya twin brother ni scale, di ba? Kung si scale kay ingani, this is a scale. Like, it's a scale, like, there's like different measurements and shit. But a distribution is the numbers and the information that is inside the scale, guys. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These numbers are called distribution. Yeah, it takes me a while. But yeah, kani naman, ito yung scale mismo. It's the scale. Ito yung background. Sila yung mga tao. Right? Okay, gets ba? Gets ba, guys? Yung distribution ng mga tao dyan sa scale, yung scale is yung background music or yung background yung mga mountains na yan or something. Basta, guys, you get the idea. So, anyways, for its technical, actually, distribution is a set of test scores arrayed for recording or study. Again, it's a set of test scores. It's a set of tao arrayed for recording or study. So, example, 25 scores in a distribution 1 to 25. In the range of 1 to 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc., 25. Mao na ang distribution. Right? Okay. 25 scores in a distribution. Mao na siya. Now, what do you call, kung distribution is a set of test scores, what do you call, like, the individual? A raw score. Kung a raw score, guys, what do you mean by raw score? Kung anong raw? Why is it fucking raw? Why is it raw score? Because it's straightforward, unmodified accounting of performance that is usually numerical. For example, imong exam sa minor kay 30 out of 50 layati 30 out of 50 ko. So when kanang 30 out of 50 mao nang raw score, it's unmodified, it's straightforward accounting of the performance that is based on the test or whatever. Mao na siya. And actually, guys, here's a rule of psychological testing and assessment that Ma'am Dar actually taught us. Ang raw score, kung maghimo kang psychological report, dili jud ka pwede magbutang og raw score sa imong psychological report. Ngano, it's not standardized yet. Wala pa siya na manipulate. Wala pa siya na whatever the fuck. Basta ayaw pag raw score kay kung raw guys, kung raw ba ang manok, kaano ba ninyo? Diba dili? So you have to you have to cook it, you have to manipulate it, you have to turn it into something better and standardized. And that's the standard of the chef, right? To not be raw. You have to cook. You have to change them or something. Basta ayun, uy. Basta ayun. So yeah. So frequency distribution. So when you say frequency, okay, so we already have this term in mind already, distribution, no? Distribution is the set of those numbers, right? It's a set of numbers. What do you mean by frequency? Frequency, how frequent it is occurring, right? Very simple. Frequency, how frequent it is. So all scores are listed alongside the number of times each score occurred in the test. So for example, table 3.2, table 3 to 2. It's an example of a simple frequency distribution. Let me show you. So over here, guys, this is an example of a frequency distribution, a simple one at that, a simple frequency distribution. Why? Because example, ang score niya kay 96. The amount of frequency na it occurred for the student kay 1. Ang let's see 69. Uy, 69, 67. Oh my god. Like 2 times siya na occur. It's how frequent it is. Yun lang. Very easy, very simple. So yeah. So we actually have 2 types of frequency distribution. We have simple and grouped. Kani guys, money ang simple. Kay simple lang siya. You put literally the scores individually. That's it. That's literally it. Ang grouped frequency distribution naman, from the word group, you have to put them in a range. You have to put them in a range like this. Diba? Kay simple na siya. Kay 90, 96, 94, 92. Ay, kahago ba? Magbutang pa kaana. Why not just do a group interval? Why not just use a group frequency distribution with class intervals? These are called class intervals, by the way. Class intervals are basically like the range of which the scores occur. So example, 95 to 99. Kinsay nakascore 95 to 99? Isa ra ka tao. Kinsay nakascore 90 to 94? Duha ka tao. Kinsay nakascore 85 to 89? 2. Ano siya guys? Ano siya? Super simple. So, okay. So, a number of class intervals used and the size or width of each class interval are for the test user to decide. So, ikaw, depende na sa imo ba, depende na dyan sa imo kung unsa, like how much number of class intervals you want and how wide the range is. Ikaw na depende, it just depends on two things. Convenience, convenience or detail. Convenience or detail, what side do you on, the light side or the dark side? So, if you're the type of person to be convenient, then surely, magbutang kag class interval nga, dako kay siya, like, for example, grabe na po, magbutang kag 50 to 100, unya 49 to 0, ay grabe na po na convenient, sir. Grabe na po na convenient, sir. Murag dili na pwede. So, ingana, it depends on you na jud. Pero, it's a trade-off man yun. If you're more convenient on the test, if you're more convenient into like doing this, into like grouping them, then you lose data. You lose detail. Kay of course, kinsa may mawalag detail kung magbutang lang ang 51 to 100 unya 49 to 0. Kinsa may di mawalag detail ana. Pero if you are to sacrifice convenience for detail, ay grabe na jud, like palakpakan to you honestly, because grabe na kahago and dili na siya convenient for you. 'Di ba? Tama. So, let me ask you this in the comment section. Convenience or loss of detail? Convenience or detail? Where do you stand for? Ako, I'm in the middle. Char! But yeah, guys, ayun. So, we also have two things. We also have highest class interval and lowest class interval. Very simple. Ang highest class interval in this case is 95.99. Kani siya. Ang lowest class interval is 40 to 44, which is over here. Very simple. Simple yan, guys. What is a graph? A graph is auto. It is an autograph. Charing. A graph is a diagram or chart composed of lines, points, bars, or other symbols that describe and illustrate data. So, those, when you're so sick of seeing these fuck-ass numbers, why not make a graph? You make a picture and you're like, whoa, I can finally see what the data means. Finally. And there's actually two types of graphs, guys. We have the histogram. Right? And we have the bar graph. Now, unsa may kalihaan nila sa iladuha, ang histogram ug bar graph. Ang histogram, guys, mostly used for continuous data ni siya. Mostly used ni siya for continuous data. So like this. Diba dagan siya, diba? Mao na ang gamit sa histogram, guys. Mao na siya. Yes. Also, it's worth noting na ang x-axis, guys, dili mo kabulo sa x-axis. Kung x-axis horizontal, kung y-axis vertical. Kung ang x-axis usually dili ka magbutang sa scores. 'Di ba? It was put in this table. Now you put it over here, babe. You put it over here in the x-axis. So y naman is the frequency. Para makita nimo like unsa kadaghan iyang na occur. Kanina po bar graph. Ang bar graph usually siya for categorical data. So example for actually, guys, this is very fun because ang continuous data, this is IR and categorical data is NO, ang bar graph. Ang histogram kay IR. Ang IR again, interval ratio. Ang NO, nominal ordinal. Put them all together there, noir. Right? Oh, 'di ba? Gets na mo, guys. 'Di ba? Simple na tayo. We also have this thing called frequency polygon. It's a continuous line connecting the points where test scores or class intervals are put. So, yun, polygon like a square or whatever the fuck a shape that is. Muna siyang crystal. Manang polygon, guys. Manang frequency polygon. But honestly, kung ako bitaw, maghimo kog histogram mo eh. Very kapoy ang frequency polygon. Anyways, let's take a break, shall we? Let's take a 5-minute break before moving on to the next topic. Alright. So let's move on to the... Okay. So let me introduce to you the next topic, shall we? The next subtopic. So, di ba I stated before na dili ka pwede magbutang og raw scores. Dili ka pwede magbutang og raw scores sa psychological test. As a psychological report. Kaya nga no, raw pa man siya. Kailangan nimo siya lutuon sa... Kailangan nimo siya i-prep. Kailangan nimo siya i-manipulate. This is where the measures of central tendency, variability, and whatever the fuck kay it gets in. Because it makes the score standardized. It makes the score more attuned to literally everything. Ayun. So I believe na familiar ni siya sa inyo guys, but if not, kaluin mo. Pero yeah, ang measures of central tendency, from the word central tendency, what comes to your mind first? The tendency to be central, right? The tendency to be average, to be central in things. So it indicates the average or midmost score between the extreme scores in a distribution. So first, we have the mean, arithmetic mean, or otherwise known as arithmetic mean, but I'll call it mean, or otherwise known as the average. So, yeah. The mean takes into account the actual numerical value of every score. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? So, yung average niya, for example, actually guys, do I really have to explain this? Like, I feel like it's very, ano naman yun, basta ang sigma guys, sigma boy. Like, sigma is a symbol of used to signify sum. Morning formula sa arithmetic mean guys. Kung ang average, kasabot naman siguro mag-average. Imposible nga dili mo kabalo mag-average guys. Murag grabe na kayo na. Murag, I don't think this is the video for you. Murag, kailangan na dyan ninyo magkita og ka ng statistics 101 or some shit. Because honestly guys, like, for interpretation lang man ni untana. Like, we're not here to solve, we're here to interpret. We're here to interpret. And that's the beauty of psychological testing and assessment. Because although na siya math, dili kay ta focus sa solving. Focus lang ta sa interpretation. So what do you mean by mean? Ang mean again is the actual numerical value of every score. Like, every score every score. So let's take for example a distribution of 1, 5, 7, 8, 9. What is the actual score of all of them? You may do that by adding them all and by dividing it through the number of how much it occurs. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So divided by 5, mana na siya. Mana na siya guys. Mana na siya. So simple. Mana na siya. Imposible. Dili mo kabuluan na. Charing. Mura mag Mura mag tough or some shit. Sorry. My bad. Anyways. So mana siya guys. Ang formula. Ang X bar, it means mean. It means mean. This is the average. This is the average or the mean. Kani, ang sigma, morning sum, to sum all. Ang kani, kay raw score. Kung big na X na walay bar, raw score. Ang N kay number. Number of scores. So let's take for example, let's solve this now, shall we? Marag maluwi man ko eh. Okay. Mura mo kong inorganic chemistry tutor ani. So, let's take for example 5, 7, 8. Kana na range, gamay lang kayo. If you want to sum, you have to sum the raw scores. So you sum them all. 8 plus 7 plus 5. Let me take out my calculator. $20. So equals to 20. Right? So nanatay 20. You put 20 here. You just put 20 there. Divided by n. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Muna siya. Basta, kapoy na. Anyways. Muna siya guys. Skip na ako ni be. Ay, oh my god. This is my best So, these are different types of graphs guys. Different types of distributions. Kani guys is a normal curve. Right? Which I will be getting to later. This is a bimodal distribution for the word bimodal. When you say bimodal, ay, later na. Kay, I'll just go back to that. Maring bimodal, kay mo siya, nasa doha na something. This is where the fun begins, guys. Positively skewed and negatively skewed. When you say positively skewed, guys, it goes to the left. Notice, ang positively skewed, guys, it says positively skewed because it's skewed to the right. It's skewed to the right. Skewing means nga there are outliers over here. There are extreme scores over there. It goes to the right. The extreme scores go to the right. That's why it's called positively skewed. So how do you memorize these? Well, look at your feet. Look at your feet. When you look at your right foot, no? Look at your right foot right now. I'm daring you right now. Look at your right foot. Di ba imong big foot kay going up siya while imong pinky foot, Di ba imong big toe kay it's the tallest of them all while ang imong small toe is the smallest of them all. So if you are to look at your right foot, it's actually a positively skewed distribution. That's what it looks like. Pataas siya sa left, mo down siya sa right. Meaning that there's more scores. There's the scores that are in the right side that were skewed less frequent, right? Ayun. You just look at your right because right is always positive, diba? When you're right, you're positive. So, ayun. Negative skewed naman is the opposite. It is where the scores is skewed to the left. It means that there are extreme scores to the left nga gamay lang sila ni occur. Because diri guys, diba again what I said, ang frequency kung sa y-axis pataas ni siya. How much it occurs. Grabe yung pag-occur sa taas. Pero gamay ang sa baba. Gamay ang sa left. So how do you interpret this, guys? How do you interpret both a positive and negatively skewed distribution? Let's say your test yielded a positively skewed distribution. Meaning ana nga a lot of people failed. Basically, a lot of people had low scores because mga 0, 1, 2, 3 kani kay 99 na. So meaning ana, what could you do as a test user if gayon pa man na positively skewed imong distribution nga daghan kay tao ni fail? You make your test easier, right? If it's positively skewed distribution, you make your test easier, guys, so that many people can go para ma-distribute sila sa diri dapit sa pinaka-middle. Because when it goes into the middle, it becomes a normal curve. That's what we're trying to do, a perfect curve, guys. Para siyang Mount Mayon if you are to, if you're a Filipino watching this. And hopefully you are. Charing. Ang sa negatively skewed distribution naman, how do you interpret this? If the test you given yielded a negatively skewed distribution, what does it mean? What does it mean when a lot of people scored high? A lot of people scored high. And little people scored 0. Do you have to make it easier? Do you have to make it harder? Of course, you have to make your test harder, guys. Because you don't want them to get an easy way out, right? You have to make it harder for them because a lot of them, most if not all of them kay nakapasa, and nakapasa sila with hapit nga naka 100. So you have to make the test harder. Again, kung positive, you look at your right foot, easier siya. If sa negatively skewed, you make it harder. Right? Because basta, you just have to memorize this. Also, it's worth noting na ang mean median mode is here. Kung sa positively skewed distribution pa lang, ang mean kay nasa pinaka-right and it rises to the pinaka-top. Mean median mode. Pa-left siya kung positively skewed. Sa negatively skewed naman, ang mean median mode kay to the opposite. It goes to the right. Mean median mode. So na may murag action ana, murag kag nag-salute bitaw nga Nazi salute. Okay, hopefully YouTube doesn't take this down. But like the salute where the funny mustache man does it. Basta guys, basta ayun, I don't have to explain it kay basin ma-take down akong video. So hopefully memorize ninyo guys. Yes. Kung ang mean median mode kay pa left siya pataas. Kung negatively skewed pa right naman siya. Note ang mode yun ang pinakataas and I will explain that later. Ang median kay always middle, ang mean kay always somewhere in between. Charing. So, what is median, guys? So, median is actually defined as the middle score in a distribution. Literal na middle score. Take a look into our positively skewed and negatively skewed distribution. The median is always in the middle. That's why it's called the median. Right? It's the middle score. Ano yun? So, how do you solve it? we determine the median of a distribution of scores by ordering the scores in the list by magnitude in either ascending or descending order. If the total number of scores ordered is an odd number, the number will be exactly in the middle. But if it's an even number, you have to solve for the mean of the two middle scores. So let's count this, shall we? All right, we put this actually in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 is an even number. Therefore, we have to solve the mean of the two middle scores right here. So what is the mean of 53 plus 52? It becomes 52.5. So therefore, this is the median of this distribution. Gets? Gets. I don't know if I'm going too fast, guys. I'm sorry. Next is ang mode. So mode is the most frequently occurring score. So going back here, guys, di ba ang mode nasa pinaka peak of Mount Stupid, like peak of Mayon, Mount Everest, peak of Mount Apo, because the mode is the most frequently occurring. Again, F means frequently occurring. Kung taas imong frequency, mao na jud yung mode, guys. Mao na yung mode. Si mode ang top. Si median si middle. Si mean kay napasa sa foot the pit of the mountain or some shit. Basta ayun, uy. Basta ayun. So, let's look at this distribution, for example, guys. This distribution. What is the mode of this distribution? 1, 2, 3, 51. Kaya nga no. Ikaduha mo siya ni occur. The frequency is 2 times. 2 na yung frequency. Gets? Gets. Walang else, they're losers. They're losers! But yeah. So, what would you do for a mode, actually? In terms of assessment, let's say ka ng an interview na lang. If you are a researcher trying to research about the lived experiences of people with trauma or something, you can employ the mode in a way that kanang how many times or how frequent siya ni-repeat ana na word, like kanang naano siya like na bagyuhan. So you can account for that. Na pwede mangyapon nimo siya i-interpret di ay. So mode is the most simplest, no? Mode is the most kanang not used na central tendency. However, it has its purpose. It has its uses. Ang bimodal distribution, guys, when I say bimodal distribution like example, this distribution duha man yung modes, no? Then if you were to put it in a graph, may mo siya gingani. Gets. All right. Whew. Okay. So the mode is useful in analysis of qualitative verbal nature. So interested in which a word or words were mentioned most by interviewees. So that's what I said, guys. Sa mode. Lang. Nagulan, sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain, but it's actually raining here. Grabe. Measures of variability, guys. So how scores in a distribution are scattered or dispersed. When you say variability, what comes into your mind first? How varied it is. How varied it is. So how scattered or dispersed it is. So how does this apply to a distribution? So for example, both these distributions, distribution A and distribution B, actually have the same mean. They both have the mean. Again, ang X bar means mean, right? Ang X bar means a mean or average. Both have an average or a mean of 50, but you can really tell na murag lahi man nilang noun. Lahi jud nilang noun. Kani kay pointy, kani kay medyo flat. Why is that? That's because of their distribution, how scattered the scores are. So ayun. It's basically like the distance between the scores, the space between the scores, as what I've mentioned in ordinal scales. Kay ordinal scales do not have a, 'di ba anak ko na ordinal scales do not have a fixed distance or a fixed space. The reason for variability is for that issue to be fixed. Kay equal na ang iyang distances actually. So we actually have 4 measures of variability. We have range, interquartile range, semi-interquartile range, average deviation, standard deviation, variance. But I haven't quite studied interquartile range, semi-interquartile range, but I'll just be talking to you about quartiles because honestly, fuck this. Because I really don't get it, guys. I'm so sorry. Nag-give pa kong video nga, sabot. Ba? Estudyante mangyapon ta. I'm just here to do my free access sa akong lessons because I'm as good Samaritan like that. Anyways, so let's go on to range. So range is equal to the difference between the highest and lowest scores. So all you have to do is literally minus the highest and lowest score, guys. Maura jud na. It's the most simplest, but its potential use is limited. So why is it limited? Because it's open to errors. Di ba anak ko na errors are not inherently bad. Dili kay bad na jud siya. Charing. So let's say now we have one extreme score in the distribution, right? Let's say we have this distribution 1, 5, 8, mo kunita 1,500. Di ba? Kinsay dili mo ano na. So, di ba, take into account kani kay very close sila, kani kay layo kay siya. This is an extreme score. This is an extreme score kani 1,500. So if you were to solve for the range of this, all you have to do is 1,500 minus 1. It becomes 140.99. This is error. This is bullshit, right? Kay it can radically alter the value of the range. Because of this score pa lang, guys, na yun na siya 140.99 and it doesn't even represent most of the scores in the distribution. Gamay na kayo siya. Pero what happens if you delete the 1,500? You have 1 and 5 and 8. So 8 minus 1, 7. So diba, it's more representative. The 7 is more representative of this distribution than 140.99. Gets ba? Gets jud uy. Whew. Right. Next is interquartile semi-interquartile range. Again, as what I've said, I'm not going to be talking to you about how to solve this. But I will be talking to you about quartiles. So when you say quartiles, a quarter. When you say quarter, you have 25%. So when you put, there is actually 4 quarters, guys. We have first, second, third, fourth, and each of them has 25. 25, 25, 25, 25. When you add them all, kay mahimo siya 100%. Ayun. Ang Q2, guys, constant ni siya ha. Constant ni siya ang Q2 kay ang median. Yeah. Actually, fuck it. I'm going to talk to you about interquartile range na lang. So, interquartile range is a measure of variability equal to the difference between Q3 and Q1. So, all you have to do is minus Q3 and Q1. But you really have to find this scores first if you were to find it. But, I don't know how. Kalimtan na po na ako, guys. Nalimtan na po na ako. But yeah, anyways. Ayun. So, let's move on to average deviation. Actually, guys, mag-assignment na lang ko. Kamay study ani. Kaya wako ko study ani, bay. Kaya, dili na jud ko taman. Skewness. Okay. So, hopefully, guys, I'm so sorry. I did tell you guys na mag-lecture jud ko, pero mag-ipa-assignment na lang jud ko ninyo, guys, na kailangan na jud, like, i-study na lang ning standard deviation, average deviation, kay murag mao jud yung weakness. Basta, guys, ang variability, this is how varied the scores are, like the distance between them. Gets ba? Gets. Let's talk about skewness. So, skewness, when you think of a skew, diba it's pointy? Diba ka na ba isaw? Like, I'm guessing everyone have eaten isaw here. An isaw is skewed, meaning na it's like very flat, very ganang going straight forward, right? That's basically like the essence of skewness. So what is skewness? Actually, I haven't highlighted this. So skewness, or the nature and extent to which symmetry. Oh, sorry. Skewness, or the nature and extent to which symmetry is absent. So skewness is an indication of how the measurements in a distribution are distributed. A distribution has a positive skew when relatively few of the scores fall at the high end of the distribution. Positively skewed examination results may indicate that test was too difficult. Actually, this is what I've actually ginaano naman ako ni. Explain and shit. Actually, guys, hold on. Actually, I'm going to stop this video, son. I'm going to be posting another video. I'm going to put part 2 na lang siguro. Bye-bye.